Yeah, what we wanted to do was we wanted to, if that company was going to start and we were going to make a run at it, we wanted to make sure that the company aligned with the impact that we wanted to have on the world. And that was, we wanted more freedom, more hard work, more service to others, those three things.
Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show.
What's going on, Eagles? Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show. I'm Joey. I'm joined here by my cousin and co-founder, Drew, as usual. And I would say we have a guest today, but it's not really fair to say you're a guest because you're here with us every day.
Unfair.
So it's not unfair, but I don't know.
You stop getting the guest treatment though. That's
Yeah.
you're just
That
whoa.
was out the window a long time ago.
Yeah. That was like after we
guest treatment had to earn everything. What are you talking about?
On the show.
on the show.
Yeah.
Tim Galloway, owner of Goodwerks, no longer a guest, an actual staple at HQ. So, maybe you should just join the podcast more often.
Okay.
I'm sure
Yeah.
people are sick of hearing from us anyways.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It's fine.
I have the longest commute out of all of us.
I know, right from the back, straight from the back HQ. We had you on a couple times, right?
Yep.
So we spoke about the story of Goodwerks and also how Goodwerks ended up at Fuel Hunt HQ.
Yep.
So Eagles, if you have not listened or watched, you can go back in our channel and highly recommend that and listen to the story about the Trust Hard Work flag and the role that played in bringing Tim back here. One episode maybe not released yet, but will be released about the Few Fest.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing that we didn't touch on the first time that we had you on the show was why you chose to make in America, make things in America, make your hip packs and your bags, your small luggage in America, and also why we did too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot to cover in that first episode, and I don't think it got its just due. So today we wanted to kick that around a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As two communities, two companies that have prioritized American-made goods, I think it's important for the community to understand why.
It's also and it's also pertinent and really topical right now, like with everything that's going on. So it's a very it's a poignant. I can't grab I can't get that word.
I think
what
you're searching for is like all three of us, and I'm sure that those listening and watching too have been like bombarded with memes in the past couple days that, American-made products don't get stuck on cargo ships and things like that.
Yeah, precisely
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, it's very, very topical, like you're saying, very topical. Without getting into the whole story of Goodwerks and why is it important for you to make your goods in America? You could very well take your patterns, have them made elsewhere, cheaper.
So that has been done actually, but by not me.
Not you.
By
Yeah,
not
exactly.
me. Because people are lazy and people like to do things the easy way and cheat and steal, and so that's been done.
Yeah. So deconstructing your bags, taking the panels.
The pattern has been stolen by multiple people. Somebody actually digitized the pattern.
Yeah.
So there's one guy that took the pattern, bought materials, and then offshored it to. I'm not sure. I think he's stateside, and he's having them made in in Singapore or something. I'm not sure where. So that's been done.
Yeah.
And you can look at the quality of them, and you can look at the quality of mine, and it's like,
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I was at BK Live a couple weeks ago, and unfortunately, there were some people there that fell into the Amazon trap because there's a ton of Fuel Hunt on Amazon.
Yep.
And obviously we have a garment. It's a T-shirt. You know what I mean? Like the pattern is very, there's not as much that goes into the T-shirt as your boogie bag per se, as far as patterns and sewing, construction, and all that other stuff. Yeah. Not to minimize it, but what I mean.
That's an arguable thing, right? Because a lot goes into the design. Yeah. Right. So there's a lot that goes into the art for sure.
I could tell. Obviously, I can tell because I know we never made that. But even just from a quality standpoint, the people that were wearing the knockoff Amazon counterfeit Fuel Hunt tees.
You saw people there with that?
Oh yeah. The one that I saw the most, a bunch of people saw them, but the one that I saw the most was our Blade tee, and it was on a royal blue shirt.
Oh my god!
And the back imprint they moved to the front.
I've tried. Dude,
so there's a bunch of royal blue shirts. Three. And three's enough for me.
Well, it's more than
with
just
a white
more
imprint.
than just Amazon at this point. It's there's other random sites that I've tried with Amazon to get it off there, but
they don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a really tough thing to manage, right? Like you can't control it, right?
Yeah.
Like you have no control over it. And the reality is that nothing is new. There's nothing that's new anymore, right? So, you could say that, someone could find a way to be like, oh, well, what you're doing is a copy off of this or that or whatever, right? There's always a way where people could find, like, there's always a pathway to find, like, if you're looking for something, you can find it.
Yeah.
So it's like if they can find a way to be like, oh, well, they're not original or they didn't come up with this concept or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's always a way to find that. But when it's blatant, it's blatant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it frustrates me. I mean, now, especially since we're made in America, it's frustrating because they're obviously, those knockoffs obviously aren't. So not only are they bastardizing the design that we put so much time into, and there's a reason why the loud parts on the back and the left chest is quieter. Like, there's a reason. There's like a method behind our madness. We didn't invent it, but there's a method behind the madness. When seeing it, it's just infuriating.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really hurts because the first impression they're getting of a Fuel Hunt piece is a cheap vinyl stamped onto heat stamped onto a gilded shirt.
Yeah.
With an altered design. Like, that's just not when Joey and I created Fuel Hunt and had our vision, it was never that, right? It was the gilded shirts weren't even in the discussion. It was we're lucky we're not a high end fashion brand. Like, we're high quality American made goods, but
it's frustrating for me because, like, the people on Amazon, the resellers, or I can't even call them resellers, the people that are stealing and selling on there, right? Like, they're just doing it to make a profit. They're trying to ride a wave.
Yeah,
we did. We wanted to change people's perceptions of themselves, how they woke up, how they acted each day, how they felt supported, by a community.
Yeah.
Like, and none of that is on Amazon. So, like, so I guess I've made it clear that we're not on Amazon.
They're cheapening the experience and the community as a whole, not just the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
I deal with that to an extent too. Not specifically in that manner, but that kind of like cheapening the community, making it less than what the intent is, and like cheapening it. So it's like, I get that, but at the same time, it's like if you've worn one of the Fuel Hunt shirts, and if you've worn a Gildan shirt, there's a there's a difference, right? So it's you truly do get what you pay for, but on top of that, it's I understand people, like, it's hard to live right now, man. Like, it's tough. So people are looking to save a buck. So, like, hey, man, like, I can go on Amazon and I can pick up this shirt. It's $15. Or I can go on Fuel Hunt and grab it for $35. But the thing is about, like, the one that you get on Amazon, one, it's going to feel and fit like shit. And another thing is when and if the seam blows out, you have nobody to email. You have nobody to talk to.
And I would even say it's got no energy in it.
And
it's got no.
Well, there's no energy.
The fibers don't come readily packed with energy.
I mean, they don't come through here.
Exactly.
They don't come through here, and it's just like people who have tried to mimic my stuff, who've like copied my stuff. It doesn't matter. Like they can have it like sewn almost as well or made with the same materials, but it's never gonna have like my hands on it. It'll never be that. So like, it doesn't matter what they do. Like they're never gonna have a Fuel Hunt shirt.
It's like almost not even the profit we're worried. Like, it isn't the profit we're worried about. It's the overall experience and like.
That's exactly what it is.
Like, it's, you would think that we would be like, oh my God, there's so much money we're missing out on, but it's never, just we were talking about with Nick, like, it's never been about the money.
When I saw, the first guy I saw there wearing the knockoff blade tee, my first thought wasn't that's profit that they took out of our mouth. My first thought was, I wonder if that guy knows how it really feels to wear a Fuel Hunt tee. And not even like just from the quality standpoint, but from the community, and the energy that I believe is in that material and that fiber.
There's something. So I put a note in all of my packages, like I handwrite a note, right? And I know that, like, long term, is that sustainable? I don't know, but I'm going to continue to do it.
Find that out later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that's something that I know when I receive a package, when I receive something, that if there's something like handmade, if there's something like where a person has put their touch on it, it's different than if you just get like you get the package with a little smile on it. Okay, who cares? But like when you open, and I've opened many packages from Fuel Hunt, it's like, man, I know where that's been.
Yeah.
I know whose hands it was in. I know that. I mean, obviously I'm here.
You know the type of people that wear it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, yep.
I mean, to be honest, at scale, it is sustainable, right, Kara?
She's got her headphones on.
But I mean,
The notes.
Yeah.
we did put a pause on it because we're a little backed up right now, but we'll be back on the. We are big believers in the handwritten notes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You said that you deal with it a bit about the experience getting cheapened. I would assume that what you're speaking to is the fact that sometimes I'll call them customers, but your customers treat your boogie bags as something to consume, like a collectible, like a must-have because I have the means, instead of something to wear to create things, to create memories, for use. Like, maybe elaborate a little bit more on it.
I think that my products, like, there's both of those people. Those customers. Some people wish to get it just because of what it is.
Yeah.
And then that's all they want. Like, this is a thing to have. And then they get it, and then they'll go, okay, I have it. And then it'll sit on a shelf, or it'll be turned over for a profit, or any number of things. And then there's the other part of my community, which I really aim to serve, the people who are like, hey, like, I want this because I want to use it. Like, I want to go beat this up. Like, I want to test this. I want to build memories with it. I want to have experience with it. And those are the people that I'm aiming for.
Yeah. And to a certain degree, which is like really cool, is they want to rely on it during those. And it's the same thing, with our fightwear, and even our apparel, same thing, but especially our fightwear, they want to rely on it. Yeah. They want to go do something that is out of character for them, that challenges them or whatever. And Sam's here, fittingly. They want to do something that challenges them. You know what I mean? And they want to be able to rely upon it.
Can we quick explain to the community what Sam is?
I don't. All I have to say is,
he was up there.
Yeah, he ran across the lights. Yeah.
So Sam has a friend now.
Sam has a mate.
I haven't named Sam's friend yet, but there's a couple of them.
Can
you explain to the community who Sam is?
Yeah, so Sam is my coworker that shows up most often. Yeah, it's my mascot, the shop mascot. He has found a way, even though we had it boarded up, he has found a way back into the building. I'll hear him kind of.
Speaking of Made in America, we're in a building from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's in phenomenal shape. It's got so much character. It's beautiful. But you know what? Look, there's ways in.
And that's that's okay with me. I don't mind saying, hey, look,
it's wildlife.
I'm not feeling I'm not finding any detritus on my gear, so like I'm good to go.
Okay.
So like it's very fitting of the it's part of the ambiance. It's part of the experience.
We should put Ernest back there up on that beam.
Maybe Ernest would keep him away,
like
how
a
scarecrow.
Put, like, the owl. The owl or whatever. I wonder if that would work.
Or I can get an owl.
Well, that would be implying that we don't want him.
Well, it's not that we don't want him.
It's not that we don't want him. It's that we don't want him. They make a mess back there.
One thing that I've learned about Sam is he is a tough MFer.
Yeah.
So even if he's
a Philly squirrel, dude.
He's a Philly squirrel. Yeah. So even if he has to abandon this abode, he'll be all right wherever he goes.
He'll be all right.
From the first story Tim told me, where he was just ever so elegantly perched, he clearly he seems very comfortable at this point.
Oh, he's chill.
I
saw him lay out on one of the beams. Like, I just like watched him walk on one of the beams, and he just like laid out like completely flat on the beam and just like took a nap. Yeah, and just like slept for a little bit, and then just like woke up and just like took up. Like,
now he's got a lady friend too, so now he's really kicking in the hyperdrive to impress her.
Action in the Goodwerks HQ.
Listen, I don't know. Maybe it could be. It's like the end of the dove back there. Yeah. It's like the end of the dove. So Sam, welcome to the show.
So
What made you decide? Let's get into that. What made you, Tim, decide to make your bags in the U.S. and not take an alternate route? Was it a?
I don't think that it was a decision, quote unquote. Yeah. When I started Goodwerks, it was a response to, what can I do now instead of just sitting and applying for a stimulus check or going and getting. I took no stimulus checks. I took one SBA check.
Yeah.
But I took no stimulus checks. I took no wage loss. I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So I decided.
Just as a reminder, started in 2020.
Yeah, this is in 2020.
Yep.
So instead of doing that, I just decided I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna make something. And
it's a very American decision.
I would. Our interpretation and version and depiction of an American decision, yes, for sure, right.
Yep.
And I had reached out and spoken to somebody that runs a pretty large business, like an international company, and I said, hey, I'm starting my company out, and we had been talking, and I was like, what would you suggest, like, for scaling? And he said, just send it overseas. Get a business loan, send it overseas, pony up a bunch of money, have them make a bunch of product, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And, I've seen companies that started here and then decided that, hey, like, I'm more interested in the profit. I'm more interested in making the money. I'm more interested in the financial turnover. And then they offshored. Mm-hmm. And I saw what that did to the community that was involved with it, because I was part of that community. Mm-hmm. And man, that was that felt like betrayal, for a company to go, we're made in America, and we're, building better Americans, and this is who we are, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're gonna send some of our stuff off to be made in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like, no, like that felt like that's like a punch in the gut. Like, what do you, that's saying, like, all this stuff that you're espousing, all these things that you're talking about, like,
the goal's not the goal. Then
you made liars out of yourselves. Mm-hmm. So
this company that did that, I'm not even familiar with who you're talking about, but they started preaching that their company preaching that they were American made, like American made values, and then
Yep. Yeah, it was all like pro America, and it was.
Yeah.
But then I think there was change in leadership or change in higher up, and they decided that, like, I don't know if it was investors or what, but then they offshored.
Yeah.
And that was a huge detriment to the community, and it felt like a betrayal of sorts,
Yeah.
And look, I mean, do I want to scale my business and have massive output and massive sales? Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, is there are people here who are skilled. There are people here who need work. There are people here who, want to work. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to take something that I've built literally with my own two hands to give it away to somebody that's not here.
Yeah.
We've spoken about serving, right? And for us, serving is also supporting the communities in the country that we're in.
Yep.
And we don't serve those people by pushing those jobs away, by pushing that work away.
Serve yourself when you do that. You know what I mean? You serve yourself. And
I mean, I don't even think it would be a service to self at that point. I think that it would be under the guise of serving yourself. But truly, would you be serving yourself by doing that? I don't think so.
Yeah. I
think you would have to really give away a large part of who you are to do that. Like, if I felt compelled to do that, I would sell my machines and I would find a job doing something else, because like that feels really icky.
Yeah. I mean, we started, the community knows our story. Actually, I can't say that, because when I was at BK Live and I spoke and I told our origin story, I had a lot of community members that have been in the community for a couple of years come up to me and they're like, we had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, we had no idea. We only know.
A lot of people don't even know who we are. I tell people, I hope you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the short of it?
So So we are American made now, but we weren't in the beginning. And that was something that, look, we didn't set out to build an apparel company and a fightwear company. We set out to build a community. So when the clothing came on the scene, we made the decision we could at the time with the funds we had.
Yeah, we loved the idea of being American made, but it was at no way was it achievable at the time.
And Drew will tell you, like, I was barking up that tree like for years.
Yeah, like, I was like, dude, I'm with you, but like it's in due time, like when we can, like but yeah, it just came to the point where it was. I mean, we were, to be honest, when we made the decision to switch, it still wasn't the right time. We should have waited, and we did it anyway. And good things that went better at some point, yes, but we did it and it worked out.
The thing is that a lot of people don't really realize is, we, as much as we want to have things made here, as much as we want to build things here, we don't have the manufacturing infrastructure for it here. And that's a big part of it, right?
Because it left.
Because it left, because people quit, because it was lost. Like there's so many, there's a bunch of reasons, right?
Yep.
So, what Drew's saying, it wasn't a good time. It's like there's never going to be a good time to do it because the supply and the materials are so they're not readily available here.
Yeah.
There's I try to source things stateside as much as I can.
Same.
But there's things that I just can't because there's either there's no product like it that's made here, or B, the comparable product is so expensive that it doesn't make any sense to use that.
When you say sense, it's basically not affordable.
Yeah, it's ineffectual and it eats into margins too much, and there's no way on the business end, does my heart say hey, I want to go with this? Yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't be able to survive if I went that route, right?
Yeah.
And not to toot our own horns, but it's a testament to the amount of crazy we are. Just it's crazy. You're crazy to start a business. You're crazy to do dude, you're crazy. We're crazy. That's just what entrepreneurs are. But to then also move your manufacturing to the United States is actually crazy because you're not only making your life harder as far as sourcing goes and manufacturing goes, making margins hard, making things tighter. It's everything. It makes everything hard. Nothing is better when you go American made. It's just you're doing it from
an operational standpoint.
Yeah.
For love of country and for love of your fellow man and doing the right thing. Yes, for to be a good American, it is the right thing to do. But from a business, if I was giving,
an operational
if someone came to me and said, Drew, how do I make the most money as a business or the best operation, I would not suggest American made.
And buy Temu shirts and go buy heat press and.
Well, when we had the moment in 2019, do we have a blog or do we have a business? When we asked ourselves that question, and we said, okay, look, this is no longer going to just be a community. We're going to give the community what they want, and it's also going to become a business, a company, right? We sat down and said, look, we need to do what we got to do right now, which is continue to manufacture. And most of our stuff was stateside. We were in the Middle East doing some things, but we were not really in China much or anything like that.
Everything was printed stateside. We never went the Alibaba route, which a lot of our competitors do. They just literally find manufacturers at Alibaba. They make
everything comes
shirts.
in ready to sell or whatever.
Yeah, they come. We got people here bagging, tagging, folding. They get their stuff off Alibaba. It comes in fully packaged, ready to go. And it costs them $5, and it costs us quadruple.
Yeah, what we wanted to do was if that company was going to start and we were going to make a run at it, we wanted to make sure that the company aligned with the impact that we wanted to have on the world. And that was, we wanted more freedom, more hard work, more service to others, those three things. Yep. So even to this day, after our cutover to Made in America, we make sure that we're not just building products in the U.S., but we're building people in the U.S. with jobs. We're building families in the U.S. because of said jobs. And ultimately, we're building the country. That's the chain that I see when it's building product in America. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's why we do it.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
No.
is difficult, super difficult. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Yeah. You know?
That's why there's a reason that basically no other apparel brands like ours are made in the USA.
Yeah.
There are people in the apparel space doing it, obviously the ones we know, but not, I wouldn't say, not that we believe we have direct competition, because no one has the community or the experience or the vision behind our mission that we do. But no one in the apparel space, branded apparel space, is doing it.
I take pride in the fact that like the businesses that we work with to finish our products or even contract manufacture our products, they're family-owned businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some that have been here for a long time, some that are brand new, just like us. 7 years, we're still brand new. You know what I mean? I take pride in that because of, like
absolutely.
I said, it's building people.
The founders and their families have been, like Josh and his family have been in our warehouse, like literally.
Yes, exactly.
You know, some of my suppliers, one of the companies that I go through, like their stuff is made overseas, but the company, like the looms and everything, are overseas, but the company is based here, and it's a family company.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, it's nice being able to, like, you send that email and it's like, I've spoken with you before.
Yes.
You know, it's that familiarity. Like another supplier that I have, they bring in, I get all my zipper slides from them.
Yep.
It's always the same people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, could I go to the supply, like the manufacturer? Maybe.
Yeah.
Do I have the volume for that yet? No. But it's like, I'm helping. There's a ripple.
Yes.
Right. So it's like, I'm able to take my business and give other businesses business.
Yes.
And that helps populate that helps
Builds
put
people,
food on table.
builds families, builds communities,
Yep, all
everything.
that. Yep.
It's
You know,
funny.
all of it.
You mentioned how it's tough to live right now in the economy. Like, who knows? Maybe if we source more things in America and provided more manufacturing in America and build more jobs in America, the economy might not be in the situation that it's currently in.
Yeah, I think that we've forgotten how to fill our cups first, and not in a selfish way. But your cup has to be full first before you can help others. And we're doing a lot of helping to the detriment of our own people, and it's it's probably not a popular thought nowadays, or maybe it is, America first. But I feel like, you know, we have to take care of our own people. And I believe in my heart that Americans have great hearts, some of the best hearts of anybody in the world. And if we were taken care of, you know what I mean by that? If we looked out for manufacturing here first and creating jobs here first and aiding people here first, that we would give back. I know the type of people we are. But instead, it's the reverse. Yep. So
yeah, it's become too easy. It's become too easy to get by. It's become too easy to have the necessities that you need to live, right? And I think that people have, you can't even say like they've become accustomed to resting on their own laurels, because in order to rest on your laurels, you have to have achieved something. And I think that there's a really big belief that, hey man, like if I can get this assistance, if I can get this help, I'm just going to take that and that's all I got to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I mean, in my mind, like that's a different kind of hell.
Yeah.
You know? And there's this, man, I love Akira the Dawn. I love like his, because he remixes like a lot of people that like I really enjoy listening to, like Jordan B. Peterson and Alan Watts and Jocko and whatever. And there's one it's called Hard Work.
Yeah.
And it talks about how, you know, how America was built. Right. And like I'm not gonna get into the whole like, you know, people are gonna like want to pick apart like all like the political stuff and the icky stuff, and like there's no doubt that a lot of like nasty shit happened. However, the spirit of like the frontiersmen and like it wasn't just like worked for.
Yeah.
Like there was, you know, the song, like I forgot the name of the person that sampled in it, but it talks about like how sweat was the true fertilizer of America. And, it's not just like, hey, we drove west in a Conestoga wagon.
It's comfortable.
And it's not just like, we went west and all of a sudden it was there. It's like, no, like, these towns were like built from nothing. So it was like picked and hoed, and like they were farmed, and they had to defend themselves from people. And it's like there's these things that to have a basic life had to be earned in a big way. And it's not just I'm going to work and getting money to give to somebody. It's I have to be able to build my shelter. I have to be able to source my food. I have to be able to defend and protect myself and my family. And these things now are taken for granted and are so easily done that I think that a lot of that spirit has been lost, and that grit and that determination and that drive has been lost for a lot of people. And I think that the manufacturing not being here is part of that.
Oh, of course.
And I'm from Detroit. Like I'm from the Motor City, man. Like like this is Detroit was,
if there's ever an example, that's an example.
Yeah, and it was built up by the auto industry, and like people lived really good lives, and like they got to go to work, and they built lives for themselves, and then it just started, going away.
That grit, that determination, that need to make things with your hands here on this soil, like that's in our DNA. That's who we are. Not only that, but it also attracted a bunch of other beautiful people from all over the world to come here.
Yeah, there's a reason that our borders are like overflowing.
Yeah, right. It still continues to attract people. Yeah. But I agree with you. The outsourcing of manufacturing, it's robbed people of that
opportunity to earn
that opportunity, but also of that purpose.
Yeah.
Because so much of that is purpose driven, the work you do. You know what I mean?
And they say that, that pride is a sin, right? And I think if you overwhelm yourself with it, it can definitely be detrimental. However, I think that there's a lot to be said about being proud with the work that you do and the work that you put in. And I think that a lot of people don't know what it's like to have built something with your hands.
Sure.
Or with your mind or with whatever, with whatever tools
working
serves
through
you
and
best.
with people to bring something that was once an idea into fruition.
To manifest something.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really cool how Origin has been pulling, like taking these old looms and like restoring those and like building that manufacturing. I think that's really amazing. And it would be really, really great to see that happen more. And with Goodwerks, I've definitely thought, like what if I could get like a CNC, like a proper CNC, and start making my own hardware. Like how cool would it be like to be able to scale to that? And then I could start making my own hardware, and then if I'm making my own hardware for my stuff, I can make hardware for other companies.
For sure.
So there's
again, it has a ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it has a ripple effect.
And it's lofty and whatever, and that's great. But it's like I'm thinking of that as like I could employ people. I could employ people, and then with that, I could benefit more people too, like more money coming in, more benefit going out. So there's
setting a strong example, and you know what I mean. It's cumbersome, or it's a crazy thought to do that, but you could start small. What if you just made zipper pulls or something like whatever?
If it were that simple.
I know. Right?
If it were only that simple, right? So that's another thing. Where it's like, you can get back into supply. Like Pittsburgh, Steel City. How much steel is coming out of Pittsburgh now? Where are we sourcing? Where are we sourcing that stuff from? And how do we get raw materials? Where is it coming from? So, there's the meme with, if you buy made in the U.S. products, they don't get stuck on a cargo ship. Well, where are the raw materials coming from?
Yeah. Do you think that we're in a period of time where there will be a shift back to...
Oh, man, I hope so.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that...
I believe we are. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I believe that we are.
I think we're definitely in a transitional phase, for sure. And, I think every generation has this, like, oh, like something big's, I think every generation has that, right? And so like our generation, we've lived through like so many like big, like big things like, oh, Y2K is coming, Mayan calendar's coming. We had GWAT, we had, September 11th. We've had like so many things, like we were alive during Desert Storm. The one thing that our generation has that previous generations haven't is technology and data like we have now, right? Like if you look at the change even between now and like 10 years ago, the rate of data and exchange and information has drastically increased, right? So I think that I feel personally that we're on this like precipice, that like something, a change needs to happen. And I also understand that like we're very isolated. We're in a bubble. I mean, we are in the States. I mean, there is, we live in a very safe place, regardless 100%. Of what people want to say. This is, this is one of the safest times to be alive, when whether that's just like surviving getting sick, whether that's, like I don't have to worry about going and getting a cut somewhere and then having that cut like take a limb infection, like stuff like that. We live in like one of the safest times and safest places like ever in the history of man. But I think there's like it feels like something is
something's
coming. And I really hope that we can make a shift and start putting Americans first instead of sending these care packages of these high dollar care packages out to, pardon me, but like launder money to propagate war. Like we need to start investing in our people. And that's.
I think a lot of people agree with you, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I know I do, and I think that investing in our people is one of the best things we can do is create opportunities for them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's what we're doing by making
community.
a decision to be
and build community, right? And so that's one thing that really frustrates me with how some of the gear that I make is treated, is like it's treated as a commodity. And when I make it, I'm not thinking of it or treating it as a commodity. I'm looking at it as like a piece that's going to go to somebody in my community that's going to use it and to like improve their life.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'd be lying if I didn't say that when I saw like Fuel Hunt Tee on like Poshmark or whatever those sites are, like where people sell stuff from their closet or whatever, that it doesn't like hurt my soul a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Of course it does.
I kind of feel the same way. Now, it could go to somebody, another one of the few that puts it to great use. So that's the way I but when I first see it, I'm like, that's not what that's made for.
Yeah, why would you want to get rid of this?
Like,
I mean, I get it. People want to, make some room in their closet
right now,
or whatever, but I'd rather them give it to somebody.
They're making room for new Fuel Hunt Tees.
Exactly. You know what? I bet you 8.5 times out of 10 times, that's exactly what's happening.
Like, look, I'm going to need another dresser. So if you guys can reimburse me for a dresser.
You know how much I hear that? Evelyn and Kevin all the time.
I the same thing. Like it hits me the same way. But I do the same thing. I get my closest friends, like I don't have enough room in my drawer for all of our shirts.
Right.
So I get my closest friends my ones I'm not wearing anymore.
Yeah, so like gifting is a different thing.
Yeah, that's passing on the energy.
Gifting is a different thing. I've got currently people in my community will alert me when certain things when things go on sale and whatever. And there is somebody that was like one of the original like Boogie Bag Bunch, like one of the original crew that is offloading all of his Goodwerks stuff.
Oh wow!
And I don't know why. I don't know the thing. I don't know like the details behind it.
Maybe some person.
Like I hope that he's good. But it's really strange, right? And especially if it's somebody that invested
all of it.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the things.
All of it. Small pouches, rip cords.
It sounds like something personal, maybe.
Yeah,
something.
I think it is, but regardless of that, it's just kind of like when you see it, and it's like people that like were invested, and like you invested yourself in them.
Yeah.
I get that. Like I totally get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've also had some really like rad stuff happen where I've had a couple of people in the community were like, hey, can we are you cool if we switch bags for a little bit? Because like they had different colorways. Cool. And one of them was like, yeah, for sure. So like they swapped. And then the one person sent the bag, returned to their owner. And then the guy was like, I want you to keep that one that we swapped because it's really I know that you really wanted it, whatever. So people have gifted them, so that's always really really awesome to hear, to sharing that and building that the community, right?
Yeah.
So it's, like you don't get that when you buy a Lulu, hip pack.
No, and you don't get that when you buy something off Amazon, like a T-shirt off Amazon. You know what I mean? We get a lot.
Is
of
hip pack even like? I feel like that's a. I feel like you couldn't use that word to call a Lulu one. Like a hip pack seems like a very.
Well, you wear it on your waist. Like, let's call it a hip pack.
That's like a more prestigious word. I wouldn't.
I just don't like calling them fanny packs, man.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta call a spade with a Lulu.
Some of the most powerful moments that we've had as a community came out of gifting.
Yeah.
Ryan Wooders was gifted this day, actually.
Yeah.
After he lost his leg.
Tim was gifted a
Tim,
flag.
you were gifted the flag.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like some of the most powerful moments and connections have come out of that gifting.
And even
so
the emails you get,
cool.
I mean the DMs we get too, but like the emails you get, like, oh, I bought this shirt for my, oh my God, what was his name? His name was Joey. Yeah. I bought this shirt for my husband who's battling brain cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is.
And they reached out. This is I'll tell the story because it's powerful, but she was like, I bought this shirt for my husband who's battling brain cancer. Do you by any chance have kid sizes? And I said, no, but send me your kid sizes and we'll make the same shirt and your kid. And so we got a picture of like it's him and all the kids.
Amazing.
And so then that's another like.
That's not like you can't get that type of experience.
That's another thing that is beneficial to that, right? Is you say, hey, you know what? Like, give me their sizes.
Yeah.
If you were just sourcing this stuff from somewhere in China, Malaysia, wherever.
Yeah.
Being able to do that,
True.
You're gonna be like, oh well, man, like now I have like an MOQ of 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
But being that you run your business the way that you do, it enables you to do other things
with other people that are like us on this soil that was fertilized by sweat. You know what I mean? All that.
Yeah.
It all plays. It all plays together.
I had this. There's a dude that's out in. Man, he's in Covington, I think, Kentucky, and his daughter has some sort of congenital disease or illness or something, and the color for it is purple. And she carries like all of her emergency meds like in a bag or whatever, and she had stolen, like commandeered his I have a boogie light, or I had one. It was just like a smaller version of a boogie bag.
Yeah.
And she had kind of like stolen it. And he sends me an email. He sent me a message one day. He's like, "Hey man, she's taking this, and I know she really wants one of her own and whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, let me, I'll get back to you."
Yeah.
So I just she wanted a purple one. So like I happened to have purple.
Yeah.
So like I just made one and like sent it to her,
amazing,
right?
Man.
And it's like I'm not doing that to like talk about myself, but the point that I'm trying to get to is the fact that I make it.
Yep.
Enabled me to do that. Whereas if I were having it manufactured, that's something I would have missed out on. Like, that's something that like, I was able to send it to him to give to his daughter.
Plus, I'm a firm believer in like the exchange that you two had and the energy that it was exchanged there, and the genuine desire you had for her to feel joy. That's in that bag you made. You sent to her.
That. Yeah.
And I think that exchange of energy is lost when you send it somewhere else to have it made, receive it back, and then send it out again.
Yeah.
And much even worse, when you send the thing to a place that does not support your vision and your values for your company and your community. And that's what it comes down to.
100%.
That's exactly what it comes down to.
100%.
It's exactly.
Yeah,
what it comes down to.
there's definitely better ways to do business, man. I say it all the time. Like, I am terrible at business, man. Like, I'm awful at
Better
business.
ways to make money, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and like I'm terrible at business, but it's I've found that like one of I don't know what rule it is. I don't know your rules yet. I don't know all the rules yet, but leading with the servant heart and and offering the servant hand first, like that has been hugely beneficial to to my business. And does it make sense on paper? Does it make sense in the books? No, absolutely not. But it makes sense to my heart, and it makes sense to like my community.
Yep.
So like that's the point behind it, because it's not just about money.
Yeah.
And like money is not the superseding you know, a motivator or drive behind it. Like there's so much more to it than that.
We know a lot of people with a lot of money, and the money isn't the thing that fulfills them, makes them happy. What does is serving others.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And pouring into them so that they can find their purpose and ultimately build something too.
Yeah.
That's what fulfills them the most.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, the more money that you have that you can
it's a magnifier.
It's a magnifier. Helps for sure.
Yeah, we're not repelling money, but we love money. We love money.
Yeah.
But
it's how you use
exactly,
it. You can use it. You can use it to benefit others.
Yeah, for
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta tell the universe that you love it.
Yeah.
And you're accepting it.
Yes, of course. Of course.
My bank account's wide open for money.
Yeah, it's wide open.
We're ready.
Push it
on
in.
Let's go.
Push it on in. Let's go.
Well, this was a fun episode just to share some of our thoughts. Any other closing thoughts, Tim or Drew, that you want to add? I think we touched a lot. Everything that I kind of wanted to touch on. But kind of just, raw episode right off the cuff. So any other things you want to add about the journeys that we're on? I mean, one thing that I'll say is, I'm honored to be on the Made in America journey with the both of you.
Likewise.
You know what I mean? Building things here so that we can provide opportunities that build people here.
Yeah.
So that we can build families here.
And the one thing I would like to say too is, like, I know on the outside we are perceived as a huge business. Like we do have a big operation, but we're still a small team, a small business of a family owned small business that has real people doing real hard work working for us that provide for their families as well. So I just think it's important to let everyone, our community, know that, like, it's still us here doing the work. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, there's one thing that I've definitely tried to communicate to anyone that I've spoken with about being here is that, Fuel Hunt is not a hype brand, and that Fuel Hunt is not a facade, and I've tried to express that you guys live the rules, like you guys live what you espouse, and that was a huge, to me that's an important, like a big important thing, because you can have people that are trying to like offer stuff and have like these brands and they don't live it, then it's like it's just, to me, that makes it completely, like, it negates everything.
Yeah. I'll be honest, thank you. And I'll be honest, I couldn't do this if I didn't live it. I'd feel like a fraud.
Well, so, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that like kind of furthers my point is, like, you have that internal compass, you have that bearing, and that's indicative as to like who you guys are as people and who you are as men, and that's an important thing, and that's one of the reasons like why, like, dude, my wardrobe is now like Fuel Hunt. Yeah. So it's like, and I'm proud to wear it, and I'm proud to be here. Yeah. So it's like, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And for me, like, to add something too is, like, I get, like, my gear's expensive. Like $200 for a hip pack is a lot of money. And I fully understand that. And, I get people that have messaged me like, "Oh, you're just making stacks of money." It's like, well, you don't understand. Yeah. Like, it costs money to get the materials. It costs me tons of time. It's like I have to pay for all these things. When people see a
retail price, they think that that's profit.
Yeah, they think that that's like you're putting all that money in your pocket. Yeah, like, no, it's not how it works.
The problem is the thing that misconstrues it or ruins it for the rest of us is that the people that are buying at a super low price overseas and are selling at the same price as we are, it makes people think everyone's making all this money when realistically, the smaller the operation and the more localized to America it is, the higher the
smaller the margins.
And margins.
People are under this misconception that it's just like stacking cash. But it's like, you don't understand there's so much work involved with it that it's...
Yep.
However, I do think that misconception is all business. Like, everyone thinks as soon as you become an entrepreneur, you're rich.
No.
Like, oh, you're something.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's like, people don't realize that the average salary of a self-employed individual is low. It's not six figures.
To the entrepreneurial testament, though, the reason they have that misconception is because the people they know that are rich are entrepreneurs.
Well, you're not seeing all the noise.
Exactly.
Right? You're seeing the the top tier of entrepreneurial, of entrepreneurism.
Yeah, that works.
Entrepreneurial.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So like you're only seeing like the top %.
Yeah.
The top little bit. So it's like I think a lot of people think that, but what they don't see. I mean, it's just like the you became famous overnight story. It's like that doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, it doesn't exist.
I mean, unless you're like an internet meme. I don't even want to say like what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're gonna say.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say it.
Yeah, I don't even say it.
Because I don't want to contribute to that. But I really think that. Like back to kind of where I was, rewind a little bit to where I was going. Like, I understand my products are expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. And I understand that right now, our dollars aren't really worth that much, and they're hard to come by.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing that people continue to support my business. And the goal is to be able to give back. Yeah. And like, perhaps like right now, I'm not able to give back as much as I want to, but it's on the path.
We feel the same way. Yeah, we feel the same way. Like we'd rather give. We'll give ourselves broke. There's things that we want to do that we just don't have the means to do yet, but we will.
Yeah, for sure.
But we will.
Yep.
So again, man, like honored to be on this journey of making things in America with you, and really,
likewise.
Overall, like restoring the dignity of hard work, because it's really what it is at the end of the day. There's a bunch of online like personalities and stuff have talked about this, right? Where it's like now is like the easiest time to do anything.
Yeah.
It's the easy, like I built my business by watching YouTube videos. Yeah. And putting my own my own flavor into it, and that was it.
Yep.
And now is the easiest time to do anything, man. Like you can get if you have a good message, if you have a solid message, if you have a solid product, whether that product be music or digital art or whatever, if that's good, if your message is good, and if you put the work in, like you can't fail. Like it's impossible to fail.
As long as you're leaving people better than you found them, you're not gonna fail.
Vision, intent, action.
Yep. Exactly.
Say it one more time louder for the people, Drew.
Yeah, for the people in the back.
That's always been our thing, dude.
Yeah, vision, intent, and action. And making sure that all three of those things are rooted in the service to others.
Yeah.
Leaving people better than you found them. When I was at BK Live and I spoke, I talked about marketing. It was a business focused thing about how marketing's dead, and really what's here now is community marketing.
I
define that as leaving people better than they found them.
I've never marketed.
Yeah.
Never. It's always been just, I'm fortunate that I have a skill base with like visuals, and I can create my own visuals. But I've never marketed. It's always just been like, hey, this is my goal. This is where I'm heading. This is what I want to do. But it's never been ads. I've never paid for ads.
Yeah.
I've never had to do targeting. I've never done any of that.
Yeah.
And it's always, I've been really fortunate that it's been like word of mouth, and because people look at my gear like, hey, like this is made here. It's made by a single shop, made by one person
with heart.
Yeah. So like, it's really important to have stuff that's made and built here.
Yeah.
It matters.
And they feel it. They feel it when they get it. All those things you mentioned, they feel. Yeah. They feel that it was made here. Yeah. They feel the heart that it was made.
And we need more of that.
I mean? Yes.
We need way more of that.
Only way it's going to happen is by people like us joining forces.
Yeah.
And it's a big reason why we've done what we've done.
Yep.
So call out to the community. I did send an email. Maybe that was probably a while ago. It's probably like almost 2 years ago. But call out to the community. If you do make things in the U.S., if you make things in America, we want to work with you in some way, shape, or form. So leave a comment on YouTube or email me, joey@fuelhunt.com, and let's band together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's enough for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll leave the. Thank you for joining us,
non-guest
Tim.
Non-guest
Tim. All right, I'll leave you with a reminder: always choose hard work over handouts. Always choose effort over entitlement. Remember, no one owns you. No one owes you. You're one of the few. Let's hunt.
Ugh.